Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Harakakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone in the real world, and Shalom to the brothers doing the work of Syrian truth. Got this article on AP. It's kind of hilarious, like how fucking nuts this seems. Because it will really kind of light a fire in leaning towards the the charagma, basically saying like, these systems are fallible, so we're gonna need something that's more guaranteed, more secure when it comes around, these passports, these vaccination passports, because you've had it mentioned for a while about like, the fake passports. But it says what, nurse makes 1.5 million off fake vaccination cards. And it's like, obviously they say charges, because kind of weird. It's like, well, it says further down, like the attorney says like, oh, it's not quite what it seems. But at this point, from when you see the headline, it just seems kind of nuts. It says there's two nurses on Long Island were accused of forging C19 vaccination cards and pocketing more than $1.5 million from the scheme. Prosecutors and police said it's like the amount of money they found these guys is absolutely nuts. So it's kind of like, oh no, what the fuck was going on here for this shit to go down? It's actually wild. But 1.5 million from the scheme, prosecutors and police said. Julie DeVuono, the owner of Wild Child Pediatric Healthcare in Amityville, and her employee Marissa Uraro are both charged with felony forgery, and DeVuono also is charged with offering a false instrument for filing. Both were arraigned Friday, whatever that means, I guess, arrested. Uraro's lawyer, Michael Alba, urged people not to rush to judgment about the allegations and said his client is a well-respected nurse. We look forward to highlighting the legal impediments and defects of the investigation, he said Saturday. It's our hope that an accusation definitely doesn't overshadow the good work Miss Uraro has done for children and adults in the medical field. The legal impediments, indeed. Well, that shit sounds hilarious. For her being a nurse, I don't know how the fuck okay, so it says Suffolk County District Attorney Raymond Tiani said DeVuono and Uraro handed out fake Max cards, charging $220 for adults and $85 for children. DeVuono, a nurse practitioner, and Uraro, a licensed practical nurse, entered the false information on the state's database, he said. Prosecutors said the nurses forged a fake card showing a max had been given to an undercover detective, but never administered the max to the detective. Law enforcement officers searched DeVuono's home and said they seized about 900 grand in cash and a ledger showing profits of more than 1.5 million from the scheme, which began in November 2021. So yeah, bitch had 900 grand. So that shit's done. Cause either she was dealing we bet if she was selling fucking morphine or some shit. Cause bro, this guy, bitch is gonna be thrown into the jail, and they're really gonna use it as a jumping off point. Because it's funny, you had it mentioned like for a while, and from when they did a sting, they got the undercover officer there. It's just like, it's a wrap. So that basically means they might even just be like, look, we can't even verify, the like whether XYZ, we're gonna have to go to the drawing board, or and this could link up with the what they had. It was a Pentagon where they said they were developing the basically the charagma, the implant, where it will detect what you call it, if you've got C19, and then just like administer something from there, they might just say like, hey, look, we've got this technology in the works. We can't guarantee the max passport previously, but look, if you you get this one, then everything's gonna be good. And it's basically, but it nothing might even come from this, but it basically leans towards I thought so. It basically leans towards building the case for the charagma, and the whole utilizing the whole framework of that system as well, because that's what they're building, making everything electronic. That's something in the UK they've been doing more. That's why they had the whole track and trace, and they had it basically where it's a thing that's in an app. It's all done electronically, but it's clumsy. So they're just like, they kind of got it working, but they're like, you know what? There's a bit more that needs to be done, and hey, that bit more is what? The charagma. What is it? So Revelation 13 and 15 I'll start from. So it says, and he had the power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And that's a big factor. It's like, if you're not complying with the image of the beast, then bruh, you're done out, man. And that's becoming more and more evident. That kind of shows how it leads into the mark, because those that have faith and belief in the image of the beast, that's why they'll just move along and comply with whatever's handed to them, and that's gonna go straight into the mark. And that's why it's like, and it's funny because with the whole the yab and whatnot, they've had this opposition, verbal opposition online, and they're basically making it a thing where it's like less and less you're allowed to speak about it. And then stories like this one about, a chick making a fucking $1.5 million off selling fake passports. So they're just gonna say, look, these guys are all just in it for themselves. Well, essentially, it's just gonna continue that what you've essentially had with politics for like the last, I don't know, 10 years, maybe less actually. Well, since like, it's more or less since like Obeezy got in, a little over 10 years, where it's just become more and more like just two completely different sides that are just like super like bumping heads, shooting beams of lightning at one another, with the utmost hatred. So it allows him to be easily controlled, and the narrative to be easily controlled as well. That's all the media is. It's like it's all catering to pushing towards what Esau desires, because you have the mainstream where they're just promoting and saying like, hey, get down with it, and it's like people that are resisting, they're making themselves well known on like social media and whatnot, so they can be easily grabbed up and re-educated. So it says what, and he calls of all both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Yeah, so it's gonna be that mark where, everyone's gonna have to get down with it, and you can see where we're leading into that, man. It's being worked towards, it's being massaged into, because you have groundwork being laid, and these systems like the passports and whatnot, that's what's going to be laid on, and you have people doing it. It's always them Scandinavian countries have been ahead when it comes to the charagma, so that's why them guys already have it going on. But you're gonna see it pushed out. They're gonna angle it. They're gonna push it. So it's gonna be clamored for. It's gonna be desired. It's gonna be sprinted to. People are gonna be rushing to get it. But yeah, I'll leave you there. Shalom. Shalom.